All right, we are up and running. So, a couple things are happening here. I have never streamed on Twitch before, so as a disclaimer, this isn't going to be as professional as I might hope and as professional as you might expect. However, I do hope to try and keep a certain level of what's the word? Professionalism to this. A certain level of quality I want to try and keep up. I find that often if I have to think about what I'm saying more than if I have to think about how I'm saying something more than what I'm saying, I kind of go into a little bit of a brain dead state here. So hopefully it doesn't happen too often. But my name is Sil. Today we are going to start on a new project. I'm going to try streaming this one and see how well it works. What I want to try doing is streaming it and also recording it at the same time, and then afterwards I'll go through my recording, pick out some of the highlights so that you can kind of get a good feel for it, and then I'll upload that kind of shortened segment to YouTube. So yeah, without further ado though, we're going to go ahead and go over to, we have a base project here that I want to use. This is on Bitbucket as well, so I can put the link up there if you guys want to download that. It's actually going to be in my, where is it at here, templates, OpenTK base. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of, well actually we're going to copy everything besides the git stuff. We'll keep the git ignore, but we'll get rid of the git folder. We're going to copy that over. We're going to put it in the folder I plan on making here. And our game is going to be called Princess Dungeon Smasher. And we'll talk a little bit more about what this game is here in a second. Alright, and then we're going to do the git init here. And then we have the git ignore, so we can do git add that. And then git commit m first. Commit. Alright, and then we're going to go git remote add, git repository add? What is it? Hold on, I gotta go look it up here. Git remote add origin, that's what it is. I always mess that up. Remote add origin, and now we need to make a new repository on Bitbucket here. And we're going to call this Princess Dungeon Smasher. Nice long name there, and I'm going to make it public so you guys can download this at any time. Hopefully you can follow along with the combination of the stream here, with the video on YouTube, and the repository up on Bitbucket at all times. Alright, so we can move that back over here. Make sure we copy the link to the git file, and then we'll paste that here. Oh, it didn't paste here. Maybe I just got a 6, hold on. So we're copying, if we click on clone here, we're going to just copy the link that it gives us. Well, if I can get it here. There we go. That's going to go back over here. We're going to paste that. And then we're going to verify the remote repository there. And then we're going to do git push origin master. That's going to push all of our code that we currently have onto the repository. And I will link that repository here real fast in Twitch. There that is. I think I have quite a bit of content in the content folder of this base project here, so it's going to take a little bit to upload right now, but we're going to delete that most likely, so it'll reduce in size here in a bit. Quite a bit larger than I thought it was. What do I have in here? details. Why does it not show me the file size? Okay, that's 4 megabytes. That's a little bit large. Font's fine. Sound effects, we only have 1. Shouldn't be all that large. Yeah, it is copied at least once. So that makes it just a little bit larger. Are we done there? Alright, now we're done. Alright, we can go ahead and get rid of that. We can get rid of this here. And then we're going to go ahead and open this up in Visual Studios. I'm using Visual Studios Community 2015. You can use pretty much any version of Visual Studios and it'll be around the same here. We're going to go streamed. Open that up, and we're going to have to change the project name as well as the namespace. Everything is in. Hopefully this will move or work correctly. If I go ahead and compile this here, we'll see what we're working with. Here we are. So this is just kind of a little bit of a demo of what this engine can do. It can draw sprites, it can draw vectors, different colors. I can click to activate a sound effect. I can push enter to play a song. Just some general functionality. We got Q font drawing our font there. Yeah, everything's pretty straightforward. I will say, I don't remember quite. I think that a lot of this is documented. So it should be pretty easy to look through, but it isn't like the best I could do. It's just a compilation of all the stuff that I've worked on over the years. I think that even I have a 3D engine that I've been working on recently, and that probably has some better improvements on that. I don't think I'm really all that proud of my console handler. I've never really used it, but it is kind of interesting. Basically, this just kind of handles kind of a pseudo simple language that I made. You can write stuff to the console and change some stuff in game using a reflection in C#. So let's go ahead and change some stuff here about the project. We're going to change this to Princess Dungeon Smasher, and then Princess Dungeon Smasher. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks right. Settings, everything's pretty straightforward. We don't need to look at publish. Come on. All right, save that. We're going to go into one of our classes here. We're going to go rename. We're going to do Princess Dungeon Smasher. There we are, and that should rename all of our namespaces there. Like that. We're going to go open up our game client. And look at what we have here. Just some really simple stuff. We don't need this anymore. In our draw function, we're going to get rid of all these draw calls. We don't need the texture either. We're going to go up to our initialize. We do want a view, so we don't need to get rid of that. Load content. Wasn't really loading any. I think in the my class, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this test texture. We have a dot texture that we want to keep. The font, I'll keep it in there for now. All right, and then we're going to use the Team Explorer to push this all to the repository. So we're going to, yes. Yep. We're going to stage all of this. And we're going to commit that. We're going to go to sync, and then we're going to do, oh, we need to add, no, it should have, we're going to publish, I think is what we need to do first. First time you do it, you got to publish it apparently. Let's double check that that is in there. So we're going to load this up. The source, it's still OpenTK base right now, but if we open up one of these, Yep, so our changes are there. We're good to go. All right, we do need to change. How do we want to do this? We might, yeah, let's go ahead and exit out of this, and we will change. We're going to change the project name here. And we'll open that up. Oh, it's going to open up in Visual Studio's desktop here, apparently. Interesting. We're going to rename it from here, Princess Dungeon Smasher. And let's see if we can remember how to change the output directory here. Debug, how about build? Bin debug. Interesting. Let's just try changing it. No, it's using it. Well, alright, it's going to stay like that then. Everything else seems to be in order. Alright, well, we're going to keep it like that then, and we're going to push along here. Alright, first things first, let's open up our game client again here. And we're going to, actually we're going to add the content first. So, add existing item. So, we have quite a bit of content that's already been created for the last game, which I suppose I should probably show you guys that. Hold on just a second here. Alright, if we go to programming, or complete Princess Mono Smasher, content, alright, sound effects, where's everything else? Hold on. Oh, these are all compiled here. Resources, here we are. We don't need the about page, we'll probably remake that. The alpha we'll keep, the banner buttons, alright, we'll take them. And then, let's see here. We have a checkbox, which was kind of fun. We'll take the little icons here. We do need the entity sheet. How-to icon. This is the actual icon here. We'll use that for the program. Alright, we'll take that as well. Well, we don't need that. We get the player sheet. Which one is newer? This one has more, seemingly. We'll have to figure that out here. We need the tile sheet. Settings, sound off on, unchecked checkbox. Man, this project is old. Alright, let's add that all in there. And then we need to, whoops, we need to check all of these. We need to go to properties. And we'll say copy if newer, and build action we'll set to none. So it doesn't get built into the exe there, and then it'll copy it to the output directory so we can open it. Sound effects, we do have quite a few sound effects here. Resources, are they not in here? I guess they're just copied to the output directory here. Oh, because I think if I remember right, we weren't able to, oh, yeah, we weren't able to load. Well, hold on, maybe we were, I don't know. Let's actually go by type here, and we'll just copy all of the WAV files. And same thing with these, we need to make sure that we go into properties. Do copy if newer, if we can get it down here, and none, none, there we are. Fonts, I don't think we had any other fonts in here. We do need to add a levels folder though. Though we might not actually use these. We might make a legacy loader so that we can load these old file formats. But I think what I want to do is I want to, yeah, wow. I think what I want to do is I want to use the binary formatter in order to make a really easy level loader. Kind of like I did in the platformer POC code review I did a little bit ago. We will basically just make the class serializable, and then we'll use the binary formatter to automatically format it into binary and save it to a file. When we load it in from the file, we'll deserialize it with the same class. That way, as long as we have certain things, certain requirements met in that structure or in that level class that we make, we can still save and load it without changing the saving and loading code, which is helpful. And I think that might be the first thing that we want to do here. If we run it now, we'll see, whoops, what do we have here? Test text, oh, we forgot to get rid of it loading there. Save that, compile. All right, there we are. So we have our blank project there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's add a class here. And we're going to name this class level.cs. And this is going to be a struct with the tag serializable. And we're using system.io, using, I think it's system.io dot, yeah, I don't remember. We'll have to look that up here in a bit. But actually what we can do, formatter, I think is what it's called. Oh, system.runtime.serialization formatters binary. There we are. That's the using statement that we need there. So in our level here, I'm trying to think how I want to do this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have another struct here. We're going to add a class. I'm going to call this tile. And we're going to have an enum above it too, public enum tile type. This enum is going to hold all of our tile types, and we'll pass it to the tile when we are constructing it in order to tell it what type of tile, and then it'll automatically set all of the properties of that tile. And we'll just have a switch statement doing all of that setting, so we still have to kind of say exactly what each tile is, but on the whole it'll make it quite a bit easier when we're creating new tiles or setting tile types, that kind of stuff. Alright, so if we go ahead and open up, if we go under our content here and look at our sprite sheet, what I had before is we had tiles and we had entities, and the tiles, there could only be one type of tile per grid space, and every grid space had to have a tile, right? But the entities could have multiple per grid space, and they could be added and deleted, and they could change states or move around. So anything that was more modular was an entity, and anything that was just like base level geometry, that was a tile. So I think we want to keep that, and we'll try our best to make that work. If we look at our tile sheet here, yeah, move it over here. We zoom in here, so we have just the flat ground tile, we have a wall tile, we have a hole, ice, lava, water. This is actually a box that's been dropped into water, and then we have some other colored walls, which I don't know if we'll use. This is actually should be an entity, this little skull here. Not sure why that's in the tile sheet. And then we have little pushers, which pushing directions. This is animations for those pushers. We have, this is for some kind of like 3D look to some of the tiles that are supposed to be below the floor. For example, the hole or the lava or the water. We use these to draw corners and sides so that it looks like it's kind of indented into the ground. So I think we'll still do that. But yeah, so let's keep that over here. I'm going to put it on my other screen, which you guys can't see, but we're going to put it over there. We're going to have ground, wall, hole, ice, lava, water, box depressed, and then push right, push down, push left, push up, and I think that's all we'll have for now. So we'll keep it like that, and then we'll have a public, or actually we'll make it private tile type, and we'll make a public accessor for that. Tile type, get return type, set type. Actually, we don't want to set it. We just want to have a get so that they can't set it after construction. And we're going to move this over here. And then we're going to have public bool is solid. We're going to make it private still. Bool is solid, private. What else do we want here? Oh, we want int. What do we call it? Sprite sheet expose. Well, let's just try sprite sheet x. Sprite sheet y. And this is going to represent the grid position of the sprite in the sprite sheet. Starting from 0, 0, going to, I think that this is 10 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, oh. Yeah, it's 10. All right, going to 9, 9. All right. We're going to have a public constructor here. So tile type. We'll do this dot type equals type. Switch type. Case tile type dot ground. We're going to do sprite sheet x equals 0. Sprite sheet y equals 0. Is solid equals false. And we'll do break, and then we'll copy this to make it easy. We're going to do wall, and this will be true. And the x will just be one more over, and then another x over. We have hole, and that's not solid. And then we have ice, and that's going to be 3 there. Is that correct? Yeah, 3. That's not going to be solid. And then we have lava, and that's going to be 4. And then we have water. That's going to be 5. And then we have box depressed. That's going to be 6. And we're going to copy this a few more times. And then we need push right. We're going to do left. Or actually, let's do it in order like we had before. Down, left, up, and this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 1 in the y direction on all of those. None of them are solid, and that is all of them. We're going to do a default here, even though we don't have any other types right now. If we do have types later, this will be important. We'll do sprite sheet x. We will set it, trying to think. Why don't we just set it to 8, I think is what it is. So we'll do 8 sprite sheet y equals 0 and is solid equals false. Actually, we'll make it true, just so that you can't walk over it. So that is this block right here. If it has some type that we don't understand, we will just put that in there. There we go. I'll go ahead and save that. All right. Now, if we go back to our level struct here, we need to make a tile class serializable there. Serializable, and we're gonna do public and then tile, and we'll name this tiles, and then we'll do public string file name or file path. Let's call it file path public string name, and we're actually going to make these private. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you, I think it's alt left drag, yeah, you can select rectangles in Visual Studio, which is really useful. We'll do private, and that reminds me we actually need to go back to our tile class here and make public accessors. Public bool is solid get return is solid public int sprite sheet x get return sprite sheet x. And then y, we'll save that, go back here, do public, what is it here, this int, we have to, let's go look this up here real fast. That's what it is. So we need to return tile. Is that what it's looking for? This int I, I needed to give it, we'll do x. So if you've never done this before, never seen this, this is overloading the square bracket operator. So we can say the name of our level variable, open brackets, enter an x and y, and it'll return a tile without having to put in tiles, which is pretty fun. It's pretty useful. Return tiles x, y. That makes that. And then we're going to do public string file path get return file path. Name, and I think we're also going to put an author in here, private string author, just so that we can have people, and that needs to be lowercase because that's going to give us problems. All right, now we're going to make a constructor here, public level string file path, and then we're gonna make another protected function. I'm not actually sure if I'm ever gonna overload this, but we'll go ahead and make it protected instead of private. Load level, or load from file, how about that? Load from file, string file path. We need to make a return on that, that's why it's getting mad at us. Now, well, what's it? Oh, okay, we'll just make it private then. All right, so using stream reader, actually we'll just do using stream file dot, oh, we are using system.io, file dot open, and then we'll do the file path there. file mode dot open. And we're going to check to make sure that the file exists. If this file path, then we're going to make another function here called private void initialize empty int width int height. This will just make an empty level with the desired width and height, and it'll fill all the tiles with empty tiles, whatever we want to define as the empty tile. So we're going to do tiles equals new tile width height for int x equals 0, x is less than width, x plus plus, for int y equals 0, y is less than height, y plus plus. Go ahead and close that there, and then we're going to do tiles x, y equals new tile, tile type dot, and we will just fill it with ground. That'll be the easiest there. And then we need to do name equals undefined, and then, well, we'll just call it new level or empty level, like that. And we'll do author equals nothing. There we are. And then here we'll do initialize empty, and we'll just make it 20 by 20 as a default size, and we'll return so that we don't continue. And then here we're going to do binary formatter, formatter equals new binary formatter, and I think we can just do that. And we can do formatter dot deserialize stream. I think this might actually have, no? Nope, okay. So we're just going to deserialize there. And we'll pass it in our stream that we have. And then we'll do level. Level equals level. We'll typecast that there. And we're going to wrap this all in a try catch just to make sure that we don't exception E. We're going to print that to the console. Console.writeLine. Error occurred while loading file. And then we'll do file path. Well, we'll make this look a little bit nicer. We'll just go like that. File path. Console.writeLine. Error. E.message. We'll print out the error message, and then we will initialize empty 2020. So if we have a problem loading the level, it'll just load an empty level so that we don't crash the game there. Actually, yeah. I'm trying to remember how I did this. I think what I actually did. Yeah, I think what I actually did is I did a static public static level. Actually, we're going to go like this. Do a little bit of a paradigm shift here. And this is going to have to be a public function. Actually, no, let's make that a private function still. And what we'll do is we'll make a public access or a public constructor here. Level, int width, int height, initialize empty, width, height. There we are. we not able to do that? Alright, let's just copy this then. And put that there. And then instead of that, we will do return new level 2020. There we are. Get rid of that there. We'll do the same thing here. There we are. And now we can just return new level. Let's make this a little nicer looking. We'll put this in the finally. That way, we just make sure that. Interesting. Okay. Well, I have not used finally all that much, so I don't know all that much about it. All right. What am I not setting here? File path. File path equals nothing. We'll copy that there, do the same thing down here. We don't really need this function anymore. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. All right, we're gonna do something similar. Public static void save. Yeah, we'll make it static. Static void save level 2. String. Actually, let's do first level string file path. And then we're going to be using stream writer. Actually, we'll just do stream equals file.open file path file mode dot open or create file access dot write. We might actually want to define a file access on the other stream that we made for reading. File access dot read. All right. Hold on just a second. All right, we're going to do binary formatter equals new binary formatter dot serialize. Is that what it is? Yeah. And we'll do stream, and then we'll do level. What does this return? Void. Okay. All right, and then we'll just do a try catch loop again. We don't need to return anything because it's a void function. Saving file to, and we'll put from here. Just make it a little more readable. All right. Now, how did I do this? I'm gonna have to go look at my other code here real fast because I don't remember exactly how I did this. It's gonna be in the community one here, platform POC SLN. All right, that might make the stream a little bit worse because I just save that there. Okay, if we go into level, I know that we have this. Create empty load from. How do we do this here? Oh, we literally just, we manually copied it over. That's really annoying. We could do that. That doesn't look as nice. But I'm not actually sure how I want to do this here. We'll keep them public static, but yeah, so. Level.load from file path. this dot tiles equals new tile, and we need to make some accessors here for the size here. So public int width get return tiles dot length. Actually, get length is what I think it is. 0 dimension, which is the first dimension, which would be our x-axis, and then height will be on the first dimension, which is the second. One dimension, second dimension there. There we are. And we'll do loaded level dot width, loaded level dot height for int x equals 0, x is less than loaded level dot width, x plus plus. For int y equals 0, y is less than loaded level dot height, y plus plus. Alright, then tiles xy equals loaded level dot tiles, or actually we can just do loaded level xy, which is what we want to do. There we are. And just make it a little more readable to do this dot. Now we want to do this dot author equals loaded level dot author. This dot name equals loaded level dot name. This dot, what was the last one we have here? File path. Path equals file path. That'll work good. I'm not sure if we didn't actually set the file path or the name there. This will allow us, so the file path is saved inside of the file. However, we're just going to pull the file path from what we were passed here in case you've moved the file around. That way when you load it, it'll have the actual path that you loaded it from. If you save it again, it'll save the correct path there, and then if you move it again, it'll load it with a different one. It might be a little confusing there. But for the most part, I think it should work to serve our purposes. So let's try that there. We need to be able to see what we're loading in, so we are going to have we're gonna make a new class here. Add class grid space. This is going to serve as our in-game class here. So once we load a level, we're gonna go through all the tiles. We're gonna make grid space that represents that tile type. Every time we reset the room, we reset this array, make a new grid space for every tile type there. That way we can have some more interesting data in here that doesn't have to be serializable and can change throughout the game. And then we can easily reload the level from the loaded level structure that we just made there. So this is going to have a private, actually we'll just make it public tile type. There we are. We can make some public accesses here. Public bool solid get return type dot solid is solid, and we'll call this is solid as well for redundancy there. Like bool is, oh, what else did we have in this? I don't even remember now. Public, what we might want to do, I think there is a point class in the OpenTK. Oh, it's in system.drawing. So if we use this point class, tile sprite, let's do sprite grid pose, I think is what it was called. Get return new point type dot sprite sheet x type dot sprite sheet y. There we go. And just in case we want to use it as a vector, we'll do vector2, which is in OpenTK. Sprite grid pose, sprite grid vector. Alright. Right now, I don't think. Oh, you know what we need? in our level here, we need player start X, player start Y. There we go. So that'll be saved and loaded. Dot player start X equals the loaded level dot player start X. This dot player start Y equals loaded level dot player start Y. For this, the default place will be 1, 1. Man, my voice gets pretty beat up talking this much. All right. But we don't need that here. All right. That's all we really need for now. We'll probably be adding more to this later. Public grid space, tile type. This dot type equals type. There we are. All right, that's all we really need there. Then we can go to our game client. We can do public grid space. We'll make an array of those, grid, and then we'll do a public level loaded level. We don't need to make that capitals because it's just a regular object there. And then we'll do public texture 2D tile sheet. There we are, and then load content. We need to load that in. Tile sheet equals content pipe load texture. And this is in sprites. Hold on, I gotta look through my documentation here. Okay, so I don't need to put in sprites there. I just need to put the name of it, which is, where is it at here? It's under tile. There we are. Tilesheet.png, tilesheet.png. And we do want it pixelated, so we'll pass in true there. Then, in our initialize, we will do loaded level equals new level, and we will do content levels, and well, maybe we don't want to load it yet. How about we do it this way? We'll just make an empty one, 20 by 20. There we are. And then we need to, how about we go like this? Public void go to level. We'll make this a little more readable. New level. And then this dot loaded level equals new level. And then we're going to do this dot grid equals new grid space, new level. Width, new level dot height. For int x equals 0, x is less than new level dot width. Plus for int y equals 0, y is less than new level dot height, y plus plus. We'll do grid x y equals new grid space new level x y. There we go. So now we're filling in our grid, and then we can just go to level here. And we'll pass it in the little level that we made there. And then we need to make a function. Draw grid space, actually. What we might want to do is in our grid spell. Do we want to do it that way? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it this way. We'll go ahead and put the function in the grid space here, public void draw. And we'll pass it in the vector2 position that needs to draw at, and then a vector2 scale. And we'll actually just call it size for ambiguity reasons. And what we'll do is sprite batch.draw. Mixture 2D, sprite sheet. Alright, and then we do a position, and we do it with size. But we also need to 0 color.white vector 2.0 0, and we do specify a new source rectangle. Rectangle F, and we'll do this dot tile, or this dot type dot spritesheet x times spritesheet dot width divided by 10. And we need to make sure that that's, well, no, we, yeah, let's make it a float there. This dot type dot spritesheet, oops, yeah, this dot type dot spritesheet y times spritesheet dot height divided by 10f. That needs to be a multiplication symbol. This dot spritesheet dot width divided by 10f, spritesheet dot height divided by 10f. There we are. That'll do that. Let me go back to our game client. For int x equals 0, x is less than grid get length 0 x plus plus. For int y equals 0, y is less than grid dot get length 1 y plus plus. And then we can do this dot grid xy dot draw, and we can pass it the sprite sheet that we've no, what's it called here, tile sheet. And we'll do new vector 2, and we'll do x times 10, y times 10. New vector 2, we'll make it 10 and 10 right now. I don't remember exactly how big our sprites were. They might have been 8, so this might be scaling it a little bit weird. But for now, we'll just make it a grid size of 10. And now we cross our fingers. We should get a gray rectangle. Perfect. Oh yeah, there's those rounding. That's wonderful. All right, I think we'll get rid of some of that if we make it. I think it's actually 16 by 16 because those look small to me. I think each block is 16. It might be 32. Still gets those rounding errors. Let's see if this fixes it here. All right, there we are. Whoa, is it really running that slow? Well, seems to be pretty straightforward. All right, now let's add in our update if my dot key down key dot left control and my dot key press s key dot s. So if you push Control S using the left control key, we'll do loaded level dots. Actually, we'll do level dot save to save level 2. We'll do loaded level, and we'll do save dot bin. This is a binary file there. Well, let's just go ahead and make our own file extension. Save dot level. Let's do it that way. All right, so that will save it. We'll just go ahead and console output here, right line, save level to save dot level. All right. There we are. And then what we can do is we'll do it. Well, actually, since we'll do it this way. If file.exists, and we need to include system.io, file.exists, save.level. So if we have previously saved the level on startup here, we will load it. And this is going to flip around here. Loaded level equals new level. Save.level. There we are. Now, let's add some editing real fast. If my.key, or let's do my.mouse down, mouse button left, then view.mouse pose to mouse pose equals view.mouse pose. If mouse pose dot is greater than or equal to 0, and mouse pose y is greater than or equal to 0, and mouse pose dot x is less than or equal to grid dot get length 16, and it has to actually be less than and not equal to, and mouse pose dot y is less than grid dot get length 1 times 16. So we need to check to make sure that the mouse is inside the rectangle in which the level occupies, and that way we don't get any weird stuff. We'll actually put this on the outside. All right, then point mouse point equals new point int mouse pose dot x divided by 16 int. So we're rounding this down. This is doing the same thing as what math.floor does. Divided by 16, and we'll have to kind of clean this up a little bit. These 16s we'll get rid of and make either a static variable or kind of a dynamic variable. I'm not sure what I want to do with them yet. That way we don't have magic numbers in here. But for now we'll do this. There we go. So if that is that, then we'll do this dot grid mouse point dot x mouse point dot y equals new grid space new tile type dot we will add the wall. There we are. And we'll do the same thing for the right one, except for we will add a tile type of, let's do lava just to see how that looks. Perfect. Go ahead and run this. All right, there we are. So now we can add some blocks in here. We can add some lava with the right click. And then if we save it, save level.save.level and exit out, start it back up here again. It didn't load it correctly. So where is it going wrong here? Save.level, it is saving to save.level, correct? Did it actually make it? OpenTK, no, we need to go to bin debug. Save.level. Let's open it with Notepad++, see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like a binary file to me. Interesting. Okay, so let's look at this here. We'll put a breakpoint there, make sure that we're actually hitting this constructor. There we are. What is our loaded level here? Height is 20, width is 20, empty level, tiles. Let's do something here. Well, let's do this way real fast. Let's set a tile that we know is set here. Okay, so the 2-0 should be, there we are. All right. We will step over this here, look inside, tiles at, oh shoot, it goes the opposite direction here. 2-0 is not, so this is getting initialized to empty. And we're not writing to the console, so what's probably happening, we are just not outputting here. File doesn't exist. That's probably gonna fire off here when we load it. Oh, no, hold on. I think I'm just doing the opposite thing. Now that I think about it. If file that exists, no, okay. So the file does exist. Oh. Yeah, that's why, okay. I need to actually update the, okay. What I need to do here, before I save it, I need to copy all the grid spaces back to tiles in the level. So we'll do for int x equals 0, x is less than load level dot width x plus plus. For int y equals 0, y is less than load level dot height y plus plus. Load level x, actually we don't have a operator. All right. We're gonna have to make a set there as well. Okay, we're gonna have to go in here. We're gonna do set this dot tiles xy, or yeah, xy equals value. There you go. Y equals grid xy dot type. There we are. So we're setting all the types there. So it was saving correctly, I just wasn't actually inputting the values there. And we exit out, load it back up. Perfect. There we are. So really straightforward. Everything kind of goes together really quickly. All right. Well, guys, I think that's it for now. Man, my voice is getting really cracky. I'm gonna try streaming maybe tomorrow or the day after or something like that, and we're gonna get possibly some entities in here, clean up the game one a little bit to make it a little bit more sectionalized. We might kind of section this editing off into its own thing, do some file saving, loading, management, that kind of stuff. Well, no, I think what we want to do is we want to jump into the gameplay a little bit first. We will have this rudimentary loading or rudimentary editing for now, and then eventually we'll actually copy that and section it off into its own editor game state. But for now, I'm gonna upload the source here real fast. We're gonna go to Team Explorer. There's a lot of changes I've made, lots of stuff added, a couple things deleted. There we are. We'll leave it like that. And then we'll go to sync and we'll go to push, and that'll get pushed. You guys can go ahead and download that source. But for now, my name is Sil. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.